The Truth About the Bible, Part 1. Who Abraham Really Was. Dear viewer, my first video regarding the Bible will focus on the patriarch Abraham. As I have previously explained, the Bible is a collection of works belonging to the mystery religion I described, works originating from various peoples and different eras. However, these works have often survived only in the form of retellings. The figure of Abraham, too, fits well into this context. According to the Bible, Abraham was the son of Terah, the son of Nahor. He was initially called Abram. His brothers were Nahor and Haran. Terah lived in Ur of the Chaldeans. Abram married the beautiful Sarai. His brother Nahor married Milcah. Abram's other brother, Haran, died prematurely. Terah then left the city of Ur, together with Abram, his wife Sarai, and his grandson Lot, the son of Haran, and settled in the city of Haran. There, Terah died. Abram then traveled to Canaan, accompanied by Lot and Sarai, in accordance with God's instructions. Following the outbreak of a famine, Abram traveled to Egypt. On the way to Egypt, he asked Sarai to claim that she was his sister. Since Sarai was beautiful, she was taken to Pharaoh's palace. However, God struck Egypt with plagues. Consequently, Pharaoh returned Sarai to Abram. A nearly identical story is recounted later, when Abraham and Sarah stayed with Abimelech, the king of Gerar. Abram left Egypt, went up into the Negev, and then on to Bethel. There he parted ways with Lot. Then God commanded Abram to traverse the land of Canaan, which he had promised him, from one end to the other. Later, God made a covenant with Abram. God promised Abram countless descendants and gave him the land from the borders of Egypt to the Euphrates. Sarai, being barren, gave her maidservant Hagar to Abram so that he might father a child with her. Hagar bore Abram Ishmael. When Abram was 99 years old, God appeared to him and renamed Abram Abraham, for Abraham was destined to become the forefather of a multitude of nations. Then God renamed Sarai Sarah and declared that Sarah too would bear a son. Abraham was to name him Isaac. As foretold, Sarah conceived and bore a son, whom they named Isaac. However, God subsequently put Abraham to the test. God commanded Abraham to go to the land of Moriah and there, upon a mountain, sacrifice his son Isaac. When Abraham had already built the altar and raised the knife, God intervened, and an angel commanded Abraham not to sacrifice his son. Instead, Abraham sacrificed a ram that had become entangled by its horns in a thicket. When Sarah and Abraham died, they were buried in the cave of Machpelah. In the Quran, Ibrahim is likewise a patriarch and a prophet. As I have already described, the initiates of the mystery religions often created their works by interweaving the primordial myth with historical events and figures from the distant past. The question now arises, was there a historical Abraham, and when did he live? This question can, in fact, be answered. No, Abraham was not a historical figure. The name Abraham was an epithet of the Mesopotamian moon god Nannar-Sin. We find it, among other places, in the highly significant bilingual hymn to the moon god Nannar-Sin. This hymn was discovered in Nineveh and is dated to the time of Ashurbanipal. Here, the epithet Abu Rimnu, the merciful father, appears. The name Abram means the exalted or high father. Abraham means the merciful father, which corresponds to Abu Rimnu. The interpretation as the progenitor of a multitude of peoples likely traces back to an epithet of the moon god Sin, which we also find in the hymn. This epithet is the Assyrian term Rimu, meaning womb. In Hebrew, the word for womb is Rekem. The Sumerian name of the moon god is Nana or Nanar. The Akkadian name is Sin or Suen. His principal cult center in Mesopotamia was the city of Ur, home to his main sanctuary, the Ekishnugal, which housed the main temple, the Etemen-Nigiru. Abraham's origins in Ur are, therefore, easily explained. His migration to Haran is also readily understandable, as Haran was home to the second major cult center of the god Sin. Among the peoples who settled in Haran were the Arameans. A third cult center, which also attained a certain degree of significance, was the oasis of Taimah, located in present-day Saudi Arabia. Regarding the name of Abraham's father, Terah, there are various interpretations. One interpretation suggests ibex, while another links it to the Hebrew word yareach, moon. I would also like to point out that the Aramaic moon god, Sar or Ser, was referred to as Teri in Neo-Assyrian and Neo-Babylonian inscriptions. The name of Abraham's grandfather, Nahor, cannot be interpreted with certainty. It is likely, however, that a connection should be drawn to a Semitic root denoting river and light. This includes, among others, the Arabic Nahar, river, day, and the Aramaic Nuhur, light, Nahor, daylight, eyesight. In Abraham and the moon god Sin, we encounter the creator god and the full moon god of the primal myth. This deity was both male and female. The female aspect of the creator god was most commonly referred to simply as mistress, queen, or high lady. Furthermore, the epithet fruit is sometimes associated with this female aspect. Thus, in the hymn to Sin, we find another epithet, Enbu, fruit, accompanied by the qualifier, she who created herself. Another epithet for the female aspect of the moon god in Mesopotamia, who appears as his consort, is Ningal. Ningal signifies great mistress. In Ugarit, Ningal is called Nikal and is given the epithet Ib, fruit. The Ugaritic epic Nikal and the Kotarat recounts how the moon god courts Nikal. It is evident from the epic that, following the marriage, Nikal will bear a son to the moon god. Abraham's wife is initially called Sarai and later Sarah. In both instances, the name is interpreted as mistress. The first name, Sarai, is likely to be translated as my mistress. However, it is also possible that it originates from the Akkadian Shari, of the king. The renaming to Sarah took place when God announced that he had blessed Sarah and that she would bear a son. The name of Nahor's wife, Milcah, means queen. Her sister's name, Iscah, is derived from the Hebrew sakah, to see. However, I suspect an Akkadian origin, specifically from Ishiakum or Ishak, which means king or city ruler. The name of Abraham's brother, Haran, may refer to the city of Haran. However, it is also sometimes interpreted in relation to the Hebrew word har, meaning mountain, in the sense of mountain dweller. Mesopotamian temples were sometimes referred to as Ikur, or mountain house. Apparently, ziggurats were embodiments of mountains and dwelling places of the gods. In particular, they appear to represent the embodiment of the cedar mountain. Thus, in a hymn to Nana, it is written, "O Nana of the highlands, I shall dwell upon your mountain of fragrant cedars." The ibex which inhabited the mountains was, due to the shape of its horns, often regarded much like the bull as an embodiment of the moon god. The remaining stories concerning Abraham appear to be loose fragments that were not necessarily originally associated with him. Thus, the story of the sacrifice of Isaac strongly recalls the motif of the primal myth, in which the gods resolve to slay the wild he-goat and entrust the god of the dead with this task. The cunning god of the dead, however, wishes to make use of the he-goat and sacrifices his twin brother instead. The story of Abraham is, in the truest sense, the story of the spread of the sin cult from Mesopotamia to Egypt. In the next video, I will explain in greater detail why Abraham made his way to Egypt. Abraham, Terah, Haran, and Nahor appear to have been epithets of the moon god Nannar-Sin, just as Sarah, Milcah, and Iscah were those of his consort, or, respectively, of his feminine aspect. This also explains why Sarah would claim to be Abraham's sister. Dear viewer, thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know. Also, feel free to leave a comment if you would like to see more videos about the Bible and its background. Dear viewer, in the next video exploring the background of the Bible, I will reveal who lies behind the God Yahweh, the mysterious God of the Hebrews. Stay tuned.